The 4 manifestation principles I share with you in this video are the direct results of more than 7,000 hours of meditating, manifesting, and affirming. They allowed me to go from making $1,000 a month, in fact barely $1,000 a month, to making well over $20,000 a month. And on top of that, these principles healed my body. And if you use them in the exact same way as I describe it in this video, the same results are possible for you. In this video, I share with you the 4 manifestation principles that change the way I manifest forever. I also show you how you can incorporate them in your daily routine. And on top of that, I want to show you why ignoring these principles can set you back years and make manifesting for you so much harder, which goes completely against the principle of German efficiency, which I love so much. And on top of that, I prepared a very special gift for you, which allows you to tune into all kinds of possibilities in the quantum field. And at some point during the video, I will reveal what exactly that gift is and where you can get it. So let's dive right into it. It might sound crazy, but what if I told you that one simple formula has the power to fast-track your manifestation results to a point where you manifest 100 times faster? And for me, this realization of this principle happened during my very first Joe Dispenza advanced retreat in Turkey, Antalya. There was this moment when I had this incredible aha moment. I felt like the Jackie Chan meme. I was just like, what's going on? I was just so mind blown by this realization. And I hope that right now, when I share this realization with you, that you will also at least be a little bit mind blown, because for me, this truly made all the difference on my manifestation journey. And it all starts with this graph. And no, don't worry, I won't sing Nickelback, "Look at this graph." Because this graph indicates the frequencies, and the more in balance, the more at ease the frequency is, the shorter the distance between your manifestation and between the thought that you're sending out into the field with your clear intention. So when Joe Dispenza was drawing this graph, or at least it was somehow like this, let's not go into the exact detail of whether or not I copied it perfectly, but that was the meaning behind it. You have the distance. Here everything is chaotic. That's like the frequency of chaos, basically. Then here it's a little bit better. Here it's kind of like, I'm feeling a little bit of abundant, but not really. And I don't really know if the money will come, when it will come. And then here you get to a point where you reach that frequency and you go, yeah, abundance is somehow possible. Let's go, maybe. But then you reach the frequency, and that's the sweet spot. That's the sweet spot where the distance between your manifestation here and between you sending that signal out and drawing it back to you with the elevated emotion is so tiny, just so tiny, you see, so tiny, that it can come to you very, very fast. And I summed this up with the following formula. Activated heart plus elevated emotion equals the frequency, and the frequency allows you to get what you want. So here you have the activated heart, then you have the elevated emotion of yeehaw, and then you get the money that you want. So why is this so powerful, and what does it have to do with the graph that I just showed you before? Your heart is your center of creation, and when you truly understand how to activate your heart, then with your activated heart, you can then send the intention out into the quantum field, and then you draw it back to you with the elevated emotion. And that is, by the way, something that we will practice together in the Abundance Reality Shift Coaching Program. So remember, the activated heart plus the elevated emotion equals the frequency. And when you then reach that frequency, no matter if it's the frequency of abundance, when you want to draw abundance to you, or love, when you want to draw a loving relationship to you, then you shorten the distance between the thought that you send out and between you then experiencing this manifestation and receiving it in your physical reality. And the next principle that I'm about to share with you is so important that if you ignore it, you will completely destroy your ability to manifest, even though you might be meditating every day. I still remember the time when I tried to heal my body through the power of manifesting. I was working with Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditations every day. I was reading Neville Goddard. I was studying Neville Goddard to a point where I could quote certain parts of the lectures. And yet, I just experienced small progress. But it all changed once I made one big realization. And that's that if you meditate, for example, 30 minutes a day, then these 30 minutes have to work against 16 hours of you being unconscious, you being negative, you not believing in your future, at least if you don't actively work on stepping in your future throughout the day. And then these 16 hours are eating this half an hour tiny meditation alive. And that's why it's so important for you to allow yourself to be reborn and to rise like a phoenix from the ashes. And yes, it is time for your rebirth. And this is the most beautiful phoenix from the ashes that you've ever seen. Admit it. Or we could also say it's a grilled chicken. But anyway, it should be the phoenix from the ashes, because if you only meditate once a day and the remainder of the day you feel kind of down, you feel like, it's impossible for me to get what I want, then of course you are not in your future. You are not in this new self-concept. But if every day you work on changing your thoughts, changing your beliefs, having new ideas in your mind, and you becoming somebody else every day by walking differently, talking differently, stepping into that new self-concept, which we will create together if you want to manifest abundance in week number 3 of the Abundance Reality Shift Coaching Program. Then things can change, because that is the true rebirth that will then allow you to rise like a grilled chicken from the ashes. Yeah, but the phoenix, I mean. And Neville Goddard also shares a powerful quote about exactly this process. If you are dissatisfied with your present expression of life, then you must be born again. Rebirth is the dropping of that level with which you are dissatisfied and rising to that level of consciousness which you desire to express and possess. And the next key principle that I want to share with you, that I learned from manifesting more than 7,000 hours, has to do with you going to the gym and lifting weights. If you only do it once a month, then most likely you will hurt your back, but you will not achieve the results that you want. You will not build the body that you want. The same is true for your manifestation efforts. If you only meditate once a week and you then say, oh yeah, I'm a changed person, even though you don't admit that throughout the week you felt like, everything sucks and oh no, I'm not abundant, then of course nothing will change for you. It's all about consistency, and I know that consistency is something that most people are not willing to do, or let's say to be consistent, to be consistent. And I also know that I often mention that, especially also on my podcast, but I talk about consistency all the time because it's so, and yes, I have to get closer now to emphasize the point, so important. If you are consistent, then you can consistently experience amazing miracles. If you're not consistent, then you won't consistently experience these miracles. So even if you now want to say, no, Sebastian, please stop talking about consistency, I still have to repeat again, consistency, because it's so important that you meditate every day, change your beliefs every day, step into new beliefs every day, that you see manifesting as a way of living, a way of life, and not just something that you have to do because Sebastian said so. Because remember, we manifest all day long, either consciously or unconsciously, but it's your choice if you want to become a conscious creator, a deliberate creator, somebody who creates the life that you truly want, and that takes consistency. And even though for some inexplicable reason a lot of followers of Neville Goddard believe that it's best to only manifest once and to then just let it go, even Neville Goddard loves my consistency principle. Here's what he says. The great secret is a controlled imagination and a well-sustained attention, firmly and repeatedly focused on the feeling of the wish fulfilled, until it fills the mind and crowds all other ideas out of consciousness. Oh, and now that we're already talking about consistency, you can now also hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you get consistently informed when I consistently upload videos. And without the next key principle, you won't be able to stay calm when something happens in your life that you believe is a negative event that pushes you further away from your manifestation, but that actually is a wonderful event, at least when you then look at it in the future and you look back at it, that actually guides you closer and closer to your manifestation. And I experienced this principle multiple times in my life, just like this one time when I was already at the beach in Thailand relaxing, and then because of one tiny signature I had to fly back to Europe, and I was resisting it. I thought to myself, why is this happening? Even though at this time, I was already actively manifesting opportunities for real estate investments. And then I had to travel all the way back to Europe in winter. And you know, or maybe you know by now, that I'm not a big fan of winter. And I was then flying over Dubai, and in a way where I could have not possibly imagined, I could have never anticipated, I then, only because I had to take this flight, got into contact with somebody who brought me so much closer to this manifestation. And that's positive contrast, even though when it happened to me, I had just one thought. And this thought was confusion of the highest order. I just didn't want to accept it. I didn't want to fly. I didn't want to go there, but that's the positive contrast that the universe provides us with, at least sometimes. Unfortunately, what often happens is that as soon as this happens to somebody, they then start doubting their manifestation powers, they go back into the old self, they mess up their vibration again, and then they are in this never-ending cycle of manifesting, giving up again, starting to manifest, giving up again. And I want you to understand this principle, that even though sometimes the universe gives you the things that you want in a weird way that seems like a contrasting experience, remember that as long as you reach the frequency on a daily basis, good stuff will happen. And that's why I now invite you to comment down below, I am not afraid of positive contrast. I am not afraid of positive contrast. And I even created a perfect quote for you, at least I hope it's perfect, for remembering this. You shall not panic when the universe is in the process of providing you with everything you dreamed of in the weirdest and most unexpected ways. And no matter what possibilities you want to draw to you, if you click on the last link in the description, you can get access to a powerful hypnosis completely for free. And now that you know these powerful manifestation principles that I learned on my journey, you must remember that all of these principles won't matter if you make the most common manifestation mistakes that so many people make. You absolutely must avoid these mistakes, and if you click on this video, then you find out if you are currently making these mistakes and how to avoid making them.